bringing you the latest news, game updates, insights, highlights, and everything Liberty Hockey. This is Rock the Rink, where Liberty Hockey lives.
Well, welcome back to Rock the Rink, another season of Liberty Hockey, only a little over a week away. It's been a long off season. I think we're ready for some hockey. It's time, right, guys?
Oh, I'm anxious, getting ready to go. Well, like when it turned September, the other day I was just like, man, it's only like 2 weeks until I get to be back in the rink for puck drop. Excited for another season.
Yeah, and it's kind of crisp outside today too.
Yes.
It is getting colder. The ice rink, always cold, so we're ready. And Pat, what season of Rock the Rink is this?
I believe it's season 5.
Season 5.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a pretty good milestone.
That's right. Yeah.
We've made it.
Well, definitely, because we got a sponsor now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, we got a sponsor. Rock the Rink, the podcast from now until mid-November, will be brought to you by the Virginia Army National Guard. The next greatest generation is now, and it begins with you. Get a head start on your career in exciting fields like science, communications, engineering, and medicine, along with tuition assistance in the Virginia National Guard. To learn more about the Virginia Army National Guard, check out Join VA Guard on Facebook and Instagram, or email us at nationalguard@liberty.edu. That's nationalguard@liberty.edu. So guys, season number 5 of Rock the Rink, season number 40 of Liberty Hockey. Pretty crazy, pretty insane. So it's going to be an exciting one, an interesting one for sure, because 10 newcomers on the men's D1 squad. It's going to be different. I mean, the team looks totally different from how it did last year. I mean, let's just go around. What are the, off season? What's the mood of the team? What's the vibe with all the new guys coming in? I guess we can start with Kirk because he's the most dialed in with what's going on.
I was very excited to hear Pat and Rhett's take on that one, but
He's in his head like, liar.
Yeah, I was ready. I was ready to call the boys out. So it's anytime you have that many new people, whether it's men's D1 or even women's D1 that we'll get into later, it's a completely new energy, right? Like literally half the team is just all new players and all young, hungry, and excited, right? It's they haven't had the battle scars of having to take exams in college yet, right? That really beats you down. And so the overall energy is awesome. The weight room has been incredible. The on-ice sessions have been great. All the talk around the locker room is just, they're so excited to get this season going. There's really no other way to put it. It's the young, youthful energy, and we're really feeling it.
Who's the early season like rah-rah guy?
Oh, that's a good question. On the women, we'll get into that. We were discussing here before we started recording with some name pronunciations there. But for the new guys, they're not the most hype guys yet. I think because there's so many new guys, they're still kind of feeling each other out a little bit, if that's fair. I have a few in my head, but it's only week 3, so I don't want to pigeonhole them yet.
Man, it's like a quarter of a way through the college football season,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a few guys who stand out, but we'll wait a minute before we give that big reveal.
Yeah, and I guess just to recap the new additions this season, for the forwards, we have Mike DeBrito, Tucker Shields, Liam Cocksmith, Cal Essenmacher, Hayden DeMars, Brad Barker, and McGuire Ratzlaff. And then defensemen, we have Joe Feemster and Michael Adamick, the brother of Sophia and Zasha for Women's D1. It's pretty awesome. And then in the goal, Conrad Kausch. So those are the new guys on the ice this season. I mean, Rhett, Pat, is there anyone that catches your eye? You just can't wait to see them hit the ice next week?
I mean, I can't say anyone's caught my eye because unfortunately I haven't watched them practice yet so far. But I mean, I'm just excited to see the whole group, and like Kerr said, when you bring in so many new players, you just want to see what are the line combinations that shake out, right? Yeah. And then who can develop that chemistry instantly, because a lot of them did know each other before they came here, whether they played against each other or played with each other growing up. So that's exciting. But yeah, I mean, I think there's too many names to look at. So yeah, I'm excited to see what depth chart looks like, so to speak, and how everyone starts gelling together.
Yeah, it's always a fun time of year when you're kind of trying to figure out who's going to go with who, line combinations, like Pat was saying, and who's kind of the cone headlines, from Miracle, you kind of want to see which line's going to really stick together, and and we're used to that from seeing Olsen along with Versalano and Calendike. Versalano, sorry, me, Calendike. I got to get back into midseason form here from years ago. But when you look at all these new guys coming in, and you kind of go like, where did they play junior and whatnot? I think Liberty has a really good mix of size and experience because you look at some of these bodies like Cal, 6'1", all right. DeMar's 6'3", Barker 6'2". Like that's some good size that I think is wanted and is needed. And then when you look at the skill department, and I'm saying just because they're not as tall in stature, but we've heard about Mike DeBrito having a skill set, Liam Cocksmith as well, and Adamek, 5'7", but a puck mover on the back end. So I really, really like the mix of the forwards that have come in. Defensively, I wouldn't say there's a ton of depth when it comes to this Liberty defensive group. So if you get an injury or two, you might be in a little bit of trouble, but hopefully they can stay healthy, unlike the last couple years. It's been a little bit banged up on the back end. We'll say this, Conrad Kausch, buddy, you have made my dreams come true. I've been waiting for a Liberty Tendy to have iceberg Vaughn pads for so long. Thank you, Conrad.
Oh.
I will say they're so filthy.
For our non-hockey people, explain what that means.
Oh, it's just a type of pad with a certain design on the front, and it kind of takes me back to like the '90s with Felix Potvin. He didn't have icebergs, but he had like cat scratches because he was the cat, right? Yeah. But it looked very similar. And then Cam Ward had the iceberg pads. He made them like the popular pad when he was playing for Carolina and went on the Cup run.
Yeah.
But now Conrad has brought them to LU, and these things are just dirt. I'm going to pull up the picture here. You guys keep talking.
Okay, all right.
There you go.
Stinking dirty. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. They look good. He did a really good job.
Yeah.
So not just the leg pads, but are you a bucket guy as well? Does the helmet need to have
I didn't even
flair and look to it?
I like a good bucket, but I'm more of a pad guy. I don't know. Because I wore the ugly Chris Osgood helmet.
Yeah.
You guys don't know what that is. But anyways, it was hideous. So I don't get as caught up on the helmet look, but I love the pads.
I'll give a throwback, and obviously this one's a little personal for me.
Yeah.
Do you remember the 2014-2015 goaltending tandem of Lashinsky and Topazzini and their pads? Do you remember that one?
I remember Topazzini had Warriors, and they were pretty nice. I don't remember your wife's, to be honest.
Yeah, they
Did they have the same red and blue pads and they like swapped?
Yeah.
Did they really?
They switched the leg.
That's right. They
So they could
do remember
they
that.
had one red and one blue each.
I won't tell you my thoughts.
Yeah, don't worry. A lot of people have already mentioned it.
Here they are. Look at those beauties. I just think those are so filthy. Okay. Yeah. Not many goalies here go red-based either.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess I'm the only one excited, and that's fine, Conrad. You and I can, we can talk.
That's right.
about
You guys can talk.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah, you got Rhett pumped up for the season.
Oh, I'm ready to go just because of the pads.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go.
Okay, so talking about, we just mentioned the back end briefly. Do you think your guys' biggest question mark coming into the season? Do you have any other questions kind of bigger than that where like getting going, what kind of, not concerns you, but what do you like, hey, I really don't know what to expect in this department of the team?
I think defensively, I have question marks, but I'm not so much question marks in the sense of who's going to step up and who's going to do what. It's the question of who's going to accept their role. There's a lot of guys on this defensive unit that I feel like want to rush the puck, and they feel like they have offensive instincts, and they do have offensive instincts, but somebody's going to have to stay back and play D, right? Like, that's the truth of the matter. So who is going to be willing to accept that role? Like, I hate to say another college football reference, everybody coming in is the best of their high school for the most part. They're a top player of their high school. But then when they get to university and they're playing FCS or FBS, they have to take a second to think, all right, am I still able to be the top dog here? Maybe it's going to take me a year or two to get to that spot. But for right now, I have to accept my role and really excel at my role in order for the team to do well. And I think that's where the Liberty defensive unit, that's the state they're in. Like, who is going to be a puck rusher? Who's going to kind of settle back and be a stay-at-home guy? Because, I feel like I can think of, like, so many guys right now. Like, Bogenholm has the ability to rush the puck. All right, we've heard Adamek is a puck mover, good skater. I think Feemster as well, according to what his brother said. The captain said he's a bit more of a puck mover. Trying to go on.
Pomerleau.
Yeah, Pomerleau. Thank you. That was the one that was popped in my head and just left. So, like, there's four guys right there. and there's more. So it's like, who is going to just kind of rein in the horses and be willing not to jump up, because you don't want a zero blitz all the time. Like, that's the truth of the matter. You can tell I've been playing college football 25 lately, haven't you? Anyways, so it's that's the one question mark I have, and just can they kind of get that into their head before they go on and take UNC?
And to that point, Rhett, I think the coaches have kind of realized that too, of like, okay, we've got a lot of guys that can move the puck, a lot of guys that can score and are just dangerous in the offensive zone. I have more confidence in this team than any other. Like, when we're in the O zone, we are going to be dangerous. Like, we're going to move the puck. We're going to get incredible shots on net. And I think we'll do a great job of keeping it in the zone as well, just with some of our speed and skill there. But we've really kind of slowed things down, spending a lot of time on video, in the conference room, on the board, really hammering in systems. And I have a ton of confidence once we really establish those and ingrain them, it'll be great. Like, I love the idea of so many of our guys on the back end are skilled puck handlers, and we have so many talented forwards. We have some grinding, hardworking centermen. I think we're going to get a lot of just, D zone, neutral zone, into the O zone opportunities there that maybe in years past we haven't, because we weren't able to have our heads up for that great pass, or we weren't able to, skate with the puck and, create odd man rushes.
That's the one benefit, and you nailed it, is that your transition opportunities in the neutral zone could be huge. Like, if you can turn into a team that can turn the puck over in the neutral zone and then transition up ice quickly, counterattacks, and have a shot on goal from a turnover within like 5 seconds, like that's a big plus in your department.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, I think from a talent standpoint, depth-wise, especially in that forward group, this is a group that's going to be able to run 4 lines. First time in a while we've been able to see that, where you can see the 4th line being a very dangerous and potent weapon, and then also a lot of speed as well. Like Rhett said, the biggest part will be guys accepting the role, because especially on the back end, because you don't really need your defensemen to contribute in the scoring like we've seen in years past, because I think you have enough depth up front for that. But then also, too, how quickly will these guys gel, right? Like, that's going to be the biggest another question, too, because last year we saw a very seasoned team. It took them a while to get going.
Very true.
Now you're bringing in a bunch of new guys, trying to get those combos right. Now I get they're all going to be excited and have a lot of energy, but like at the same time, excitement doesn't match or equal chemistry. So that's the question too.
We should do over/under on PIMS in the first period against UNC. Like, is there 12 penalty minutes? 14.
In the first?
In the first
yeah. These guys just come out crazy, just crushing people.
I think, like, the question should be, like, which we should do next week, we should do first, who gets the first penalty, and then who scores the first.
Oh, I think the Flames will at least be in the box 3 times in the first against UNC.
All right.
I can see that.
I do. Because they are just going to come out. They're big bodies. They're going to come out and, like, all right, I may not score, but I'm going to put this Tar Heel through the glass.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. We seem to be a disciplined bunch, but I haven't seen them play.
Hey,
so
you just got to wait till the LIC gets rocking. They can say it all they want. That's first game.
I
remember
like
Colton Kovic's first game? Like, he was in the box 3 times that game.
I believe it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say he was overly disciplined, but he got a lot better as the year went on, or even by the second game, truthfully. But that first game, just
it's hard
the
when you're
crowd, it's rocking. You just want to, you want to make that impact. It gets into your bones.
I will agree with what Kirk just said, and especially in the ACHA. Like, Red, if I come at you, I'm going down. You're probably going to get a penalty, though, right?
That's true.
So, that happens sometimes. So, like, there could be some of that happening, too. So, like, it's tough for some of the bigger guys that we have in this forward group.
That's funny. That reminds me of Little Fricks in the corner, like, a couple years ago. He had puck possession, and a guy was coming to hit him, and he reversed hit the guy, sat him down. Beautiful hit. And he got the penalty. Because for interference, because the guy didn't have the. I was like, buddy, that is like a horrible that's understanding of the rules. Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Well, that first game's going to be hype, especially because UNC, I mean, they're on the verge of becoming an ACHA D1 team.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. A good
New coach,
season
too.
opener, new coach. Man, so that program, they're hyped up. And just looking at this schedule, too. So you'll have UNC, FGCU, other big ones on this schedule. October's when it all gets going. Adrian, they're going up to Michigan to see them. And then November, I'm really intrigued by November. You have Niagara, then Ohio, then the Maryville Showcase. You know, Minot's going to be there,
Yep.
some other great teams. So I think that little chunk of time is going to be a really telling one, especially because, you know, you'd expect the team to have gelled a good amount by then. And then the new year, I mean, Calvin, Niagara, and Adrian, and then 2 series against Ohio. What are our, you know, overarching thoughts about the schedule and, you know, any teams on this list that, you know, you think are going to be really challenging this year?
So, okay, I have some notes down, all right?
Give them to me.
Okay, so FGCU, I just hope Liberty pumps their tires. That's it. All right.
It'll help, honestly, be
Yeah.
great for D2 because they play them the next 2
Do they? Yeah. And honestly, but the truth of the matter is this: it's probably not going to happen, and it has nothing to do with our D1 team. For those of you at home, like high-end D2 teams are competitive D1
Yeah,
team. Like,
FGCU, like Mary, would transition to D1, and
Yeah.
they'd be a top 10 team.
Lindenwood as well,
Yep.
right?
yeah,
exactly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they would definitely be up there. 100% agree. So that second game is going to be a good challenge, no matter what. And then one I have on my note card is October 4-5 versus Delaware, sleeper team. Be careful. I said last year I thought they were pretty decent. They turned out to be. I think when you get to October against Maryville, that's go time. So you've played Adrian at Adrian. You've tasted probably the best of the best. Now you've kind of hopefully are finding yourself at that point. It's time to buy into what's your team's going to be and get going. The only other one I have listed is Calvin on January 17th, 18th, coming back from Christmas holiday. Be careful. They're a decent team, too. Like, I know they're not a big name in the ACHA yet, but I think that's one that could bite you.
When I look at the schedule, I always like looking at November because there is a showcase, or at least there has been in the past, a showcase in Chicago around Thanksgiving. That's the worst. Chicago's the worst. I never ever
You
play in
prefer
Chicago.
St. Louis this year?
Oh yeah. Anywhere but Chicago. It was awful having a showcase there. Too many games and just not my city. But I love how we are playing a tough, challenging schedule, but we're also just taking care of the boys here, right? So having that weekend off between November 8, 9, and then November 21, 23, that's when everybody gets sick and everyone gets hurt. And so having that off, it just shows to me of like, man, we're really figuring out how to be like a high-performance team here, how to take care of the bodies and have the end goal in mind of a season versus just packing in as many games as we possibly can. St. Louis is great. Chicago's the worst, so I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah, it'll be a good one there for the boys.
Yeah, and I think, too, good thing about the schedule, too, it kind of goes, like, in some waves, right? Like, it's slow climb, then you get to the defending champs, go back down a little, back up, and, like, gives them time to figure out what this team's going to be. And then I remember Rhett talking about it last year when we did the schedule review, like, when you're building at the first start, like this is a team that could be 6-0 or 5-1 going into Adrian, and then they go to Adrian, potentially, if you're lucky, like we've done in the past, split, or figure out we got some stuff to work on, right? And like that's what you want with this group, and then continue to come back home and then take care of business, and then you just consistently play great teams. Like, I mean, 10 of the teams on this schedule were at Nationals last year, right? So you played basically throughout this season, you're going to play half of last year's national field, and that's great for building experience for this young group.
I think, too, when you look at that first October game against Adrian, my thing would be, be fearless. Go in there.
Oh, yeah.
Just be fearless. You've got size. We've heard a lot about the offensive potential of this team. Just be fearless. Go in there, play your system like Kerr was saying, and let your natural ability shine through, and don't be afraid to match them physically. Do it. And I think you could come away surprised.
Agreed.
Yeah.
We've always played great game one on the road against Adrian. In all my past memory, it's super close game or we come away with it. So yeah, let's rock. What are we ranked right now?
The preseason poll hasn't officially come out yet.
Okay.
We finished the year last year 6th.
Okay.
So more than likely, that's how it's going to be when we go into the year 2.
Perfect.
Can I ask a question real quick, non-Liberty related on this?
Okay.
What's happening in Ohio, Pat? Have you heard anything more?
I have not heard anything.
Okay.
More. For those that don't know, apparently Ohio Bobcats coach has stepped down. And he stepped down really a week or 2 ago.
Yeah.
To take a new job back home.
He went back to Switzerland?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I heard. So it'll be interesting to see what that young talented group, because that's a team I think everyone thought all right, it's their time now.
Yeah.
This year they were probably the favorite coming in. So it'll be interesting to see how they are. But I will say I feel like they'll be okay, because when Coach Maroon took over, that team wasn't having their best season, but they still made nationals, and then they pulled the big upset versus number 2 Minot to make the quarters.
Yeah.
And then they've gone to back-to-back Final Four since then. So I feel like whoever they put in the helm, with all the talent they have, they're going to figure it out.
Can you imagine if Sean Hogan came back with that talented roster? It'd be...
Yeah, I wouldn't like that. I don't think he's coming back.
No, I
he
don't
took
either.
another.
Yeah.
He took a director of hockey operations job, for
with,
an entire.
Yeah, I
league or
think
something
USA.
Yeah, something like
USA
that.
hockey.
So-
Yeah, I'm with you.
Oh, shoot. All right.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't even know that about Ohio.
Yeah.
Crazy. Eager to see who's going to take over there.
We're the insiders then.
Yeah, right.
Pat is.
We'll learn it quick as we play
Yeah.
3 series.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Gosh.
Sure, man. Yeah,
Oh
you
my
forget
gosh.
you play them. So
Yeah. What I like about this schedule, though, compared to last year, last year you just had Minot right off the bat.
Right.
This year I feel like you can't really do something like that with as many new guys as you have. I like how you slowly ramp it up to that October 10th showdown with Adrian, so it gives you a little bit of time to figure things out, gradually face better and better teams until you get there. And then just in general, I think I'm just excited for, like you said, Rhett, the size that they're bringing in this year.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see what the identity of this team is going to kind of turn into. Are they going to take on more of that, Adrian type of identity where, we're just going to wear you down, we're going to be big like that? Are they going to stick with, we're a fast team, we bring skill, what this team is going to, what their MO is going to be? So
I think the perfect recipe would be a hybrid of what you just said, truthfully. But the one thing that worries me, always worries me every year, is you're going to go into UNC, you're going to win, right? That's, unless the sky's falling. You're going to win that game. You're going to win that game huge. Don't let that get stuck in your head. We don't have to do the hard work to win hockey games.
Right.
We've heard, I really love the pick of captain and Feemster because his work ethic, right? I just hope so much that they buy into his style of play and that everybody plays a similar brand of that hockey, because I think that will take them so far. We've always seen Liberty teams that can score, but I think sometimes it can get a little bit caught up on just let's be a finesse team, let's score pretty goals, where if it turned into a bit more of a Feemster style of play where you're below the dots, you're grinding teams down, you're making life miserable on their D, and you're just at the, in the third period, the opposition is exhausted, but Liberty's rolling 4 lines that kind of have a similar play style. I think this team could go really, really far. That's what I hope that they can focus on, buy into, and then perfect as the season moves along.
And you mentioned Sam there, just so you know, it carries over to Joe.
Does it?
As well.
Good.
We were doing an exercise in the weight room where the weight should have been fairly light, and then I look over and one of our new guys is popping his eyes out at what Joe's using. I go, that's just Feemster, man. They just go hard. It's in the blood.
Love it.
yeah. Well, lots of excitement around the men's D1 season, and I'm sure there's no one more pumped up than the head coach of Liberty Hockey, Kirk Handy. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. We're excited.
Yeah, thanks for having me in. Is this the first one of the year?
Yeah, it is.
Wow, awesome.
One of the year.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
Give him the trivia question, Annie.
How many years has Rock the Rink been going for? Do we have any clue?
5 years.
You got
You.
it.
I'm impressed.
wow.
I wouldn't have even been able to guess that.
Yeah, this guy knows LU hockey.
But it started as an idea years
True.
before.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's awesome. It's been great. Great for our fans. Great for our recruits to have an inside look at what's going on here with Liberty Hockey.
Yeah. Great to have you on, as always. Did you have any fun summer things going on? How's the summer been for you before we get into the season?
It was great. we did a lot of stuff. We're up at the lake quite a bit, and got to enjoy a lot of time with our family, which is kind of fun. My 15 and 16-year-old son have moved away up to Westchester, so that's been kind of an adjustment for us. But it's exciting time for them to see them kind of pursue their opportunity of playing. And I don't know if my wife would say it's exciting for her, but she's working through it, so it's all good.
Yeah, and for you, 25th season coaching the Flames. I mean, quarter of a century now. 40th season of Liberty hockey too in general. Is there any extra, reflection for you heading into the season, just about how everything's gone, how it's grown?
No, I don't think so. But I mean, when you say 25 years, it does seem like I'm pretty old. God's been good, right? Over 40 years, and we're having our homecoming game September 13th, 14th weekend, and a lot of excitement around older guys coming back in for that. But, just the lives we've been able to touch. We were just talking about it a few minutes ago. Chris and I are in an online Bible study, and one of our guys is a former player in that same Bible study. A former player, we've got Chris in there, and then another guy who we coached with, Marc-Andre Bourdon, who's now with the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, it's fun to be a part and to see God's faithfulness, not only in my own life, but in the lives of those who have come through our program.
Is it true that it was Bourdon's decision to let Stammer go? No, I'm totally joking.
Yes, it was.
I'll put that one out there. Yeah. And speaking of summer, Kirk, the fans have been writing in a little bit concerned, wondering if you were making the jump from the bench onto the ice, or is it more of a retirement plan? Can you talk a little bit about your experience with officiating this summer, and is that something that you might continue doing?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The wedding.
Oh, the wedding! Yes!
I was thinking about it.
I was like, what sport did I reference? Yes, it was exciting. I've had this opportunity before, and I've turned it down. Before Kerry came to ask me, I had written down in my journal, do hard things. And he came and asked me. I told him no quite a few times. And then his fiance, Lori, actually wrote me a handwritten note, and he came all the way down, delivered it to me.
Wow.
And I still said no at first. And then, and then he came back kind of one more time, and I just said, I'm going to do it. And it was exciting. But do you know why I love doing hard things? Because it totally puts God in the center of what you're doing, right? Yeah. And so I did the wedding, and the first person I saw as I looked out was Martha McCallum on Fox News, which was kind of interesting. But just the excitement of being at, we went to 6 weddings this summer, and just the excitement of seeing our guys get married and kind of close that loop on being single and now getting married. And then at these weddings as well, we get to see guys who have now had families, and think of Grant Garvin and Ben Hughes and Pete Shantz, who I saw at that wedding, and a lot of others, Garrett Nelson, who were there, who were part of our program, and really get to see them now as husbands and now fathers, and just carrying on the legacy of what was really a strong foundation that they built here at Liberty.
I love it. So you heard it here first. You want to officiate more weddings, is what you're saying here.
Yeah,
knock it on the ice with a whistle.
It was totally out of my element too in New York City.
Yeah,
so, I'm not a big city guy.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I did see Lenny Kravitz in the hotel lobby.
No, you didn't.
Wow,
yes. Really?
Yeah.
Do you want to give us a couple songs of his?
Are you going to go my way?
Oh, attaboy. Yeah, there you go. And real quickly, though, I mean, yes, we want to win hockey games here at Liberty, but we also want to just cultivate Christ-honoring men in their lives and their relationships and as fathers. And you really hammered that point home in our just opening meeting that we had in the conference room. Can you just speak a little bit about that, of the overall mission of Liberty, and you as a coach, what are you trying to do with these players? You're trying to make them the best player that they could be and win hockey games, but what else is there off the ice that you're hoping to accomplish in their lives?
Yeah, well, the central part and the central focus of what we're doing here is training champions for Christ. And so that has to be at the core of who we are, right? That has to be the driving force when things are going right, when things are going wrong, when things are succeeding, when things are failing. You got to be able to come to a foundation. The foundation that we have is training champions for Christ. And what does that look like? Well, it looks like giving these guys an opportunity to develop in their faith, to continue to grow in their faith wherever they're at, wherever they're at, whether they're a brand new Christian, whether they're a Christian, whether They've been a Christian for many years. We want them to come to Liberty to grow in their faith. We also want them to grow academically, right? We want them to do their best they can in academics. We want them to grow personally, right? And we've got intentional environments that we have for them to grow personally. And then finally, we want them to grow within the game of hockey and continue to push themselves to be the best version that God's created them to be. So those are kind of our 4 pillars that we kind of lean on.
Awesome. And with that, I know we have a lot of new guys. Rhett and Annie, any kind of questions you want to ask Kirk about some of the new young guns?
I was just going to say, 10 new champions on the roster for this year. What's the first several weeks been like, practices and whatnot, as you get ready for UNC?
Yeah, it's been great. Love our compete. Love how hard the guys are working. It was kind of funny. The Coach Chung is heading up our systems for us this year. And the other day, he was yelling, he was just trying to use a loud voice when he was instructing them. And he was like, and Chris and Annie, and like, and you can see him like thinking about what their names were because we have so many new guys. Yeah. But it's been tough fun. They have a ton of excitement, ton of energy around what we're doing. I think we're going to be in a great spot. With the 10 guys that we brought in, 1 goalie, 2 defensemen, and 7 forwards. Think about it. Half our forward group is brand new.
Yeah, that's a lot.
14 forwards, 7 are brand new. So there's going to be a lot of movement around. We've kind of got settled in where we think we want the lines to be right now, but it's only a starting point.
Yeah, and how does that kind of list of priorities rank for you when you have as many new guys as you have this year? Like, what's the process like for you breaking it down when it before getting that final product of where you feel like you have a team that's really gelled together?
Well, I think I think there's a belief process. There's a trust process. You got to face adversity, and then we got to bond as a team. And I think those are all really important steps that we've been trying to work on both in the last couple weeks up into this week. Right, we had a lot of adversity we threw at them in practice yesterday. We wanted to try and give them, is there a bad penalty that you're not going to call? Is there a marginal penalty that you're going to call? Is there when they're doing 3-on-3, does one guy turn a stick over? Do the goalies put their sticks on top of the net? Right, try and keep them playing with some adversity, trying to make it difficult for them as they compete in battle where they have to think through, okay, that guy doesn't have a stick. That guy does have a stick. Hey, we're going to add another guy in there. Now it's going to be a 4-on-3, right? And so try and create these opportunities for them to grow in these environments and then continue to, from their bond, and continue to be the team that we want to be.
That was a good clip. That's a good soundbite right there. That was awesome.
That's the tease for the show.
Yeah, fire me up.
Kirk, you've been doing this now for 25 years. It's crazy. And I know that you
Stop bringing that up.
I know. I'm right behind you. You want to improve as a coach year in and year out. And I know there's certain trends in hockey. Do you feel like there's something that with such a new group that you're kind of filtering your team towards that you need them to do in order, in your mind, to win a national championship eventually?
Every summer you sit down and you look at what you did organizationally and you want to try and address where you think you can improve. And one of the areas I really wanted to take a big improvement on this year was how we communicate to our players. So every Monday we're going to have and we've started them, we have a team meeting, which includes going over a quote of the week or verse of the week. And then we talk about a different area. The last couple weeks, we've been talking about systems, D zone, O zone, neutral zone. We've been talking about special teams. We've been talking about, today we're talking about D zone faceoffs, what we do if we win, what we do if we lose. So different elementary parts of the game like that. But I think one of the things we want to try and do was integrate with more video. I don't think we've always done a great job with video, and so we want to try and increase that opportunity. So when we're doing systems, for example, we've taken clips. Brett Berthiaume, the jack of all trades, he's got his video clips that then Coach Chung will show, and we'll do video and show them on the board, and then go out and implement that out in practice. So I think we're trying some things like that. But one thing we're doing every Monday, moving forward from next week forward, every Monday is going to be a skills and development practice run by Tim Jackman and Josh Friedis from FCA. Tim played many years in the NHL. I always say he was a fighter in the NHL, but he's a skills guy now, and he's wonderful at what he does. Both of them have the heart of the program that we want to have, the on mission with us, and it's going to give our guys a different voice once a week to kind of hear and continue to develop their own personal skills as part of it. And the second part of it will be, if I'm a forward or a D, get an opportunity to develop those little parts of the game that you don't get to work on sometimes.
Yeah.
You bring up.
I don't know. I mean, you just brought up Tim and Josh coming in and helping more often. I know Liberty and FCA always had a super tight, close connection, and now they're here in Virginia too. I mean, how much of a difference is that going to make both for your program and for FCA? I'm sure it's just going to help that connection more than ever.
Absolutely. And, we've been very blessed. A lot of great players we've had come through our program have been a part of the FCA program. And so it's a wonderful partnership, and just to have them around and have them with an opportunity to influence the guys on our team is fantastic.
Talk for a second. I mean, you mentioned Brett Berthium. You're here all summer. I'm here all summer. John Simba is a monster. That guy was at the rink every day this summer at 8:30 a.m. What kind of fire does John Simba bring to the team, man? That guy just blows my mind.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
One of the things that when John started out, he started out as a stats guy in the stands. Mm-hmm. And one day I saw him, he was picking up water balls. And I was like, did someone tell this guy to pick up water balls? Or
yeah.
Like, maybe it's part of his internship. Like, no. He just kind of assumed responsibility when something wasn't done. And that's just the way John has started.
Crazy,
that's just the way he is. So even when he's here at the rink, he will do whatever we need him to do. Mm-hmm. He's actually been doing our PowerPoints for the team meetings on Monday. Wow. So he'll sit down with me and kind of have me write it and rewrite it and change it.
Yeah.
He's got lots of patience with me, but he's wonderful. And it doesn't surprise me because Brett brought him in, mm-hmm. and Brett knew exactly what was needed in that role.
Yeah. No, you mentioned Brett, and I think he's done such a phenomenal job assembling this team, right?
And he's also got Ben Barnett, who's back for a second year, and Ben and Josh, and John have been friends for a while, and mm-hmm. both of them do a great job for us.
I think Ben enjoys the perks of getting out on the ice. He loves it. Any chance he get, he's always out there ripping pucks. It's a good tandem. It truly is this year. Just an amazing crew that you were able to assemble, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we're super excited for the hockey season to start. Always great to have you on. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, it's always great to talk to Kirk Handy, 25th season. I mean, he's had an incredible career here. And now let's move on to women's D1.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of talk, lots of newcomers for them as well, especially coming off of a season where, they didn't come away with a national championship. And I'm sure that they're eager to get back on top of that there. Let's recap the newcomers on this team. Forwards, Haley Lee, Chloe Lounsbury, Trish Meshach, Tristan Craig, Brooke Olson, Victoria Cow, and Presley Ellis. And then defenseman, Julianne Lefebvre, Isabel Pelletier, and goaltender Brooklyn Adams. I mean, I just want to turn to Kerr here. Kerr, you've been working with this team a lot. What are your initial impressions?
Same thing I said with the men. The young, youthful energy is absolutely there. Yeah, and especially with the girls having not played junior hockey. But you could just tell they are extremely excited, and then the coaches are excited as well. This is a very, very talented class coming in. Mm-hmm. And it seems like the ladies do this very often. Right? I think it was 2017. They brought in that huge recruiting class with the likes of DeMerchant and McLeod and all the other girls that they kind of went on their run 2018. And until recently, 2022, we brought in another big recruiting class, such as, we have our captains, Fussy, Adamek, and Battles. They were all in that one. And now here kind of comes the next one. It's these waves after waves of talent that kind of just keep this program what it is. So we won't single out any particular ladies here, but a lot of them that we're extremely excited about on the front end, on the back end, and then with Brooklyn there in net. So it's going to be another great year, and then continuing on for Liberty Hockey. And a couple transfers in there as well with Tristan Craig and Victoria Koo coming in. So not all just pure newcomers. So having a little bit of that veteran experience coming from their other schools, I think that'll help a lot as well.
Yeah, I think, too, one of the things that is going to help kind of like when you've seen those big classes over the last couple of years that you talked about, they also returned a strong group of returners, right?
Huge.
Like this group,
Yeah.
we returned 15 girls that all played really top minutes for the team last year, and they all, hearing them talk, they feel like they learned a lot from that loss. Like they're like, yep. And I think they also know we didn't have the depth this year. We definitely have the depth. Like this is a team similar to the men. You can run 4 lines, right? Like, and I feel like that's something we haven't seen in years past with Chris Lowe's group since when he first took over. That he's been able to consistently have 4 lines that can go, and I think this year he can do that and have a lot of speed consistently throughout his lineup as well. So it's like very exciting to see what this women's team does, because I know they're looking to regain their title.
And what's been nice too is I'm not going to say there's been any adversity or anything like that, but just a couple girls every now and then like, this isn't my favorite day of the year. And so many, whether they're the rookies or the newcomers kind of like the returners all coming around them, like they're kind of already a team, which is super exciting to kind of see there. Because, gosh, you need that moving forward throughout an entire season of hockey.
Yeah, and a couple new additions to the coaching staff, too. Former Flames hockey player Maddie Pinnell, and then Frank Keating also joining the staff. What do we remember about Maddie's career here? I know you guys were around when she played.
Yeah, defensive puck mover and played a ton of minutes, top pairing defenseman. It would be a nice addition to the team. Also good, I think, just to have a female voice on the staff, too.
Very versatile, too. She, at times played forward, times played defense. So, she knows both ends of the game. And then also, too, she is one as a player. She is one as an assistant coach, too. So she also has that pedigree going for her, and she remembers what it was like to win as a player, win as a coach. And so she brings that. And then Frankie, I think, brings a wealth of hockey knowledge, and it's good to bring an outside voice too, not used to the Liberty system, because then he can also give a holistic approach to saying like, hey, well, what if we try this, something we haven't been doing in the past.
You know, a fun story. So Frank Keating, I believe, played hockey at Fort Bragg. And so they had a team, and Liberty played them way back in the 90s, 96 maybe. And
we've been around for 40 years.
Yeah, right?
That
I think it's kind of in that era. I think Kirk was playing at the time as a player. And I remember watching this game, and one of these guys, because it's just, they weren't overly great skaters, but these guys were just built. They were machines. And their whole goal was how many people can we wreck? They sent one guy end over end, that beautiful hockey hit you always think of. Yeah. And I just remember him getting smoked with a hip check and coming down on his neck and just boom down. I was like, oh my goodness. I'm a kid. I'm like, people are going to die. That's what I'm thinking. But he was a part of that team. So now his journey has brought him to Liberty.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Frank is he's the man. He's the first coach ever to make it all the way down to the far wall of the weight room. He came in, high-fived every single girl, walked all the way down. I was like, I can't believe this. What are you doing here? But just has that desire for the relationship, not just the X's and O's of coaching hockey. I think that's going to be a massive just benefit for this team, especially with all these newcomers.
Well, yeah, super excited for the women's D1 season to kick off. 6 exhibition games in the month of September, so I think they'll be pretty ready for the season to start. Hey, they also have a Midnight Mayhem game this season, November 1st. That's going to be exciting. Yeah. Rhett loves those games. Yeah. And now, hey, we have some international news to talk about.
That's right.
First, the World University Games, a big hit just a couple of years ago. Team USA won gold. A lot of Liberty players on that team, and Team Canada as well. They're going to be back in Torino, Italy from January 13th to 23rd. The countries competing: Canada, Czechia, Japan, Poland, Kazakhstan, Slovakia, South Korea, Sweden, Ukraine, and the USA.
Trinidad and Tobago. No.
We'll get to that one.
Yeah.
Late edition. Yeah. So that's going to be super exciting. I know.
I think you'll see a lot of Flames on there again.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Especially, because both, I think the last time the World University Games happened, 4 ladies made it.
Yeah.
And then what Annie was just talking about, the World Cup of Hockey, we had, I think 7 guys make the team,
yeah.
but multiple for Team USA and then 2 for Team Canada.
Yeah.
So I think you'll see a lot of LU representatives on both the men's and women's roster.
Great. Awesome stuff.
For Canada, will they have a lot of ACHA players, or will they use the Canadian U Sport?
Yeah,
as
I
well?
think it's Canada U Sport because
Okay.
they didn't based off who they have coaches. They all have coaches for Team USA.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, coaching the men's team for USA, Gary Astalos from Adrian with Chad Berman and Wyatt Wozlinchek from Minot.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Nice job,
We
man.
got that one down.
Yeah.
It's been a few years now. And then for the women's, Lindsay Ellis from ASU with Jenna Trubiano and Anna Quattro from Niagara. So, yeah, it could be exciting. Can't wait to see how many Flames make these teams. Then also, staying with the international news, we had a men's D2 hockey player just come back from a big international tournament. Antonio Vidal from men's D2 helped Team Cuba win gold at the LATAM Cup versus Greece. Pretty insane. I mean, in the tournament total, he had 2 goals against Armenia, 4 assists in the tournament as a whole. And guys, he's going into the Hockey Hall of Fame with Team Cuba. I mean, pretty crazy.
That's nuts. Who would have thought?
Yeah. I think that's got to be good for him because got a lot of great experience this summer, and so. Heading into now his second year, this is a guy I know Rhett was excited about as a freshman, and he feels like he could be one of the players that take the jump. Because like men's D1, men's D2, which I know we'll talk more about next week, but they're loaded up front with forwards.
Yes. Big time. And unfortunately, I don't get to train our men's D2 team, but Antonio has the potential to be the fastest Flame in the history of Flames hockey. Yeah.
Really?
He is so fast.
Wow.
This is off ice. Off ice. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Luis Mendoza.
I was like,
on off ice. Yeah. He
can't stop.
Yeah, I tested him once on the 1080, and he ran shockingly fast.
Really?
If he keeps it up, he could potentially be our first ever Flame in the 1.7s.
I was thinking of
Find out.
on ice. I was thinking, man, what was it? Was it Greg Jensen or Nick Jensen? Which Jensen was it? Do you remember the Jensens that were here?
Yeah, I remember.
There was the D-man that was from Jersey. Well, they're both from Jersey, I think. But the forward was super fast. Do you remember that?
That's Greg.
That's Greg. Okay, and then there was Eric Reynolds, who was quick as lightning too. Anyways, I was like, boy, faster than those guys. That's
Bring him
crazy.
down. Let's get him on the 1080.
that's
Let's
true.
let's find out.
Poor guys are like almost like in
September
their
13th.
mid-30s now.
Yeah.
They're like, screw this crap. I got 4 kids.
Alumni weekend.
Tell him to run the
Homecoming.
1080 with kids on his back.
Yeah. Exactly. You don't sleep in the run.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
For real.
Hey, well, that was super cool to hear about.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
awesome.
that was down there in Florida, so he got some pretty good preseason training,
Not a boy. He'll be ready to go.
He'll
Yeah,
be ready to go.
For the Florida golf trip, too. It'll be dialed.
Yeah, right?
Ready for the humidity.
Absolutely. So that's awesome to hear about. And then, hey, as we're wrapping up here, we can't let a Rock the Rink go by without mentioning Hunter Rostick.
Yeah.
That's right.
He
That's true.
thought it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. He signed his second pro deal playing with the Roanoke Rail Dogs in the SPHL. So, hey, if you're interested, head on over. It's just like, what, a 50-minute drive?
Yeah, it's not bad.
You don't have
It's
to
not
stop seeing Hunter play. Red, I know you might.
I'd go down and watch
Yeah.
it for sure. We should start a little segment on the show called Flames and the Pros, kind of just see what guys are doing.
20 plus.
Is there really? There's a lot. Get on it, Annie.
All right, guys. Starting next week. Yeah. Well, a lot to be excited for. Men's D1 season starts up next week. Can't believe it's here already, and everyone else is going to be going to before we know it. So thanks for tuning in to Rock the Rink. We'll see you next week.